Hello, truth seekers out there. How are you today? First off, let's get straight down to business. I have posted the second part of the interview with David Icke. It's down below in the comments, the link. I'm not putting it up onto YouTube. I had a right old mess last week, so I ended up putting it onto YouTube, but I don't want to because David touches a lot of subjects that will get this channel closed down. And the first one is about reptiles, what's my question, and then he explains a lot, but he goes into tremendous detail on all of that. So watch the video if you're interested in that, and it's down in the comments, okay? Now, today's conversation, I want to talk about something that's come up, and I think it's very important, and it's very important for us. Look, we are in the most important times of human history, as far as I'm concerned. These are critical times, hard to deal with. My God, that's from the witnesses. These are times in which we need to take action. We cannot be passive. This is no longer the time to be passive. We must be active, but it's not active perhaps in the way that you think it should be. I mean, there's tons of stuff happening around the world, you know, lots and lots of demonstrations, people getting together, but also here in Spain, for example, there is now lots of demonstrations where they're becoming violent. Now, up to this point, there have been no violent demonstrations, and suddenly young people are coming out with the hoods up, burning things, smashing things. Now, isn't that strange? Doesn't that remind you of something that's been happening in the US for a while, which is the co-opting of demonstrations and making them violent and making them taking away the whole purpose of the demonstration. Everybody who wants liberty and freedom have been peacefully demonstrating. I've been in them and they've been beautiful, but not anymore. So be ever so careful. That's not the action that I'm talking about. Yes, if it's organized and it's safe, go. Let your voice be heard. It's very symbolic, but be careful with that. Okay, but there's lots of things that we can do. Let's put this in perspective. We are on a timeline. Now, the timeline that we're on is mutable, it's changeable. It can change according to what we are doing as creators in our mind, how we are creating. Okay? And so that's why it's ever so important for the news media to keep everybody fearful, because when they're fearful and they're expecting the worst, they are shifting our timeline. And so when we are feeling good about the future, feeling very positive and feeling excited, and this is absolutely the key word, excited about the future, we then shift the timeline. And so any timeline is possible. Okay, any timeline, and that's why it's very difficult to predict the future. And it's very difficult even for you'll see psychic people or talk about the future, and sometimes they get it wrong, sometimes they get it right. The reason is they're picking up on the current timeline based on the current attitude of people, the expectation, basically what people are creating right now. And remember that we can always undo that creation and create something better and something more wonderful. And so this is very important for you to keep this in mind. Now, lately, I don't particularly like the way the world's going. In truth, I don't like the way the world's been going. This manipulated agenda, this narrative that's been spread out about all kinds of horrible things. But during that, one of the things I've noticed is that this buzzwords come out, and suddenly everybody's using these buzzwords, and everybody seems to understand what these buzzwords mean. And because I'm not tied in, I don't understand what they're talking about. But I'm aware that suddenly everybody is talking about narcissists. Narcissists. And like every person who's ever split up with somebody says, oh, my partner was a narcissist. Okay. Now, what's happening, what I feel about this is that when we blanket name people, when we pigeonhole people, it makes something very narrow that perhaps isn't that narrow. It's very he's a narcissist. Never goes, oh yeah, I know what that means, yeah. Up his own arse. Now, or up her own arse, really, whoever. They're up their own arse, narcissist. But at the same time, I'm hearing the words empath, okay? And this is being used, oh, I'm an empath. An empath. And what seems to happen is people get a hold of these and they use them willy-nilly, like either you're a narcissist or an empath. And they're actually right, but what I want to do is peel back these labels, peel these labels off, and I want to explain what it is that they're talking about. We have to decide what side we're on, and the way that we decide it is through our actions, and our actions are measured this way. And when I say are measured in the highest realms, our actions are measured this way. Service to others, service to self. Now, in the book of Ra, okay, that was channeled. It says that if you are 51% service to others, you will ascend, and if you are not, if you are 50% only service to others, you won't ascend. That means 50% service to self or lower. What that means is that for you to move to 5D vibration, you must have the majority of your being serving others and not serving yourself. Now, that service to others is an empath. Why? Because empaths means empathic. What does empathic mean? That means being able to put yourself in the place of other people, understand what they're feeling, yeah, and be empathic, be with them. That's service to others. That's what we are. That we are here to help. We know. I can't tell you the amount of people that have done their life purpose with me, and it's always helping other people. I have never worked with somebody who said, my life purpose is having fun. Okay? On my own. Oneism. It's always about helping other people. That's a purpose. Okay? So that's who the empaths are. The empaths are the ones who feel other people's pain, feel other people's need, understand what people want, and want to go and help them to get that. The narcissists, by very definition, are the people who serve themselves, who think, what's in it for me, who are tuned into WIFM, what's in it for me. That's who narcissists are. And that's why if you spend time with a narcissist, you very quickly become extremely disappointed with them, because all they think about is themselves. And even when they are thinking about you, it's not about you, it's about what they can do to make you happy so that they get what they want. That doesn't mean that empaths never ever think about themselves. That's not the case. Everything that we do as an empath, as somebody who's in service to others, is a win-win, right? Service to others is a win-win. You get, I get. I help you, I feel good. This is a contract. This is what we want. This is a give and take. But two people or more win. This is very important. A narcissist or somebody who's service to self is in win-lose, or win, I don't give a shit about you. All right? So it's all about themselves. There is no effort to help anybody, and the only time they would help somebody is so that they can get their just desserts. It isn't about making the other person feel good with the intention of making them feel good so that we both win. It's win-lose here and win-win here. Okay? Right. Why am I explaining this? Because I want you to understand, don't use labels, global labels, without understanding really what it is that you're saying. It's the same when people say he's a sociopath, he's a sociopath. It's like everybody says that, you know? So sociopaths are the ones who are service to self. They don't care about anybody else. They don't feel anything. They're the opposite of an empath. They don't feel anything, okay? Because they are in this world to serve themselves. Yeah, as the famous Crowley says, do as thou wilt. Right? That means do what you want. That's not where empaths are. That's not where people who are service to others are. You can't do what you want because you have to take into account other people. But in this side, it doesn't matter. Hence the fact that this side is the Satanistic side and this side is the angelic side. Makes sense, doesn't it? What does that mean for us? That means that this is fantastic news. If we are empathic, this is fantastic news. Why? Because, you know, I've said often that light always overtakes darkness. Good will always win over evil. But why? Well, I want you to think about this in logical, scientific terms. When we are creators, we are creating our timeline. And so our job now is to help other people to do the same. You see, when an empath, when a service to other person is in action, what has to happen? Invariably, at least one other person benefits. At least one other person is filled with joy. At least one other person is filled with all of those, what we call the fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, kindness, peace, long-suffering. Yeah? That's what a service to others person is doing. They are building up another person. What happens when you build up another person? Well, that person becomes a creator also and starts creating for good and starts adjusting our timeline. And that's only one person. Normally, people who are service to others help a lot of people. And we want to help a lot of people. So what happens is this: it's like the team spirit. You get 4 people in a team. They're not worth 4 people. They're worth much more because of that team dynamic that gets created. Well, this is what service to others creates. We help lots of other people. We help them to raise their vibration. We help them to be better. We help them to start creating the new timeline, the new path, the new future. And in turn, because they are service to others, they in turn help other people. And so we get this incredible spread of positivity and help. Does that make sense? So one person can change the future. One person, through acts of kindness and acts of helping, can change the timeline that we're on, because we're going to bring hope to everybody, to bring excitement for the future, excitement that somebody cares. What do we have on this side? We have people who are service to self, and there might be many, but when they serve, they only serve themselves, and so only themselves are being made to feel better. Nobody else, because they're not in service to others, and so their actions do not affect anybody else positively, and so their power to create is weak. It's only one person. There is no team dynamic. They don't serve other people. And so what happens is that, yes, because there are many of them, there is a path. And what they're trying to do is to share that horribleness that they have with these people, with on this side. And if they can get them to fear, then yes, then they get the strength. But that's like win-lose. We win, you lose, because we're going to get our path, okay? But service to self is weak because it has no sharing. There is no sharing. It's weak. And even when they're working together for themselves. Does that make sense? They have no power. They have power, but they don't have the power of one empathetic person who's out there serving others and bringing joy and helping them to become creators for a positive good, for a positive future. Does that make sense? So that's why I'll come to the point. That the final point is, We need to start helping. If you get the sense that you're a helper and you're here to help, start helping. How do we start helping? In any way. Your job is to give people hope. Your job is to help people to feel good about the future. You must do that. That's your job at the moment. Why? Because when you help people to feel good about the future, to get excited about the future, then they start creating that very future. So that's our job at the moment. That's what empaths have to do. That's what service to others have to do. We must give good news to people. And there's tons of it. There is tons of it. Right? All right, there's tons of shit news as well. You choose what you want to look at. Every day I'm looking at good stuff. If I see anything that's telling me it's bad and oh my God, I just don't watch it anymore. I can't help people if I'm feeling down and worried. And I also know that if I'm feeling down and worried, I'm creating it. And so what we have to do is we have to seek out good news. We have to seek it out. Remember, we are here giving witness to this, giving witness to the good news. That's what we're here for. And so we have to give witness to that. And how do we give witness? By telling people. We have to preach the good news of the forthcoming kingdom. And it goes against everything that I left behind with the witnesses. I'm not saying that the witnesses have anything to do with this. This is our job. We have to go out and help people. Give them the good news. There's tons of good news. Tons of it. Tons of it. There are groups everywhere who are speaking out. We've just got so much help here on earth and up there. It's just everywhere. You just wouldn't think so if you watched the news. And that's what we have to do. We have to help people to see beyond that. And we will then create a new timeline, create our future. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave you, if I can, I'm going to put in the comments another link to a beautiful lady called Laurie Ladd. And she absolutely covers this topic beautifully in what she says about timelines and about what we have to do. Okay? So that's our job. Truth seekers, this is our job. We must help. We must big up the people. We must give them hope. We must give them excitement for the future, because that's how we're going to create it. Okay? I'll leave that with you, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye-bye.